And about 4 years ago, I started public speaking and really going out and advocating about organic food, healthy eating, and especially getting rid of the GMOs that are in our food system. I've been researching ever since I was 8 years old, and I just became curious about what was in our food. And I really had no clue how our food was produced and didn't really know what a farm was other than some of the classic stereotypes of the red barn and the old pickup truck out in the front yard. And especially over these 4 years that I've been speaking and going all around the country and the world talking about food and the food system, I've heard so many interesting stories from normal people about Monsanto or that they've heard of these GMOs and they're wondering what's going on. And one thing recently is last fall I was at a fundraiser for the state bill in Washington State, 522, that wasn't passed, the GMO labeling bill. And I heard somebody say something about a new term that was being coined called synthetic biology. And it's referring to almost like a GMO 2.0 they're trying to develop. And basically what this person said to me was that they want to take like a sugarcane plant or almost like a sorghum plant, and they want to be able to genetically enhance it, so they say enhancing, that they want to make it where it can produce vanilla flavoring or almond flavoring or some type of, artificial flavors through the genes. And also that these new synthetic biology plants are supposedly twice as damaging to the environment and to the ecosystem as the GMOs we have today are. Another thing that's fairly recent over the past year or so is the GMO salmon that's recently been developed. And it's a salmon that has steroids basically enhanced inside the DNA of it so that it can grow 6-10 times faster than the normal salmon. And at first, they were saying that they have no intention of releasing these GMO salmon into the wild and that it's only going to be farm raised. And then there was talk that started coming up that, well, maybe we might release them in the wild and see how they do. And Purdue University actually did a study on this and found that less than 2 years after you would release the GMO salmon into the wild environment, the existing salmon pool of wild salmon would either be dead or sterile within 2 years. And so that shows what, as Mary was saying, it shows what the livestock, if we release these animals out in the wild, what they would do to the ecosystem. I also went to Russia last October and got to experience their agriculture system over there. And the really interesting part about Russia is that their agriculture was it was kind of gray. Here in the United States, we have sort of like a black and white agriculture system. We have, organic, where you're certified organic and you're doing a lot of good stuff without chemicals and free of pesticides and herbicides and GMOs. Or we have the totally conventional factory farms with GMOs and pesticides and herbicides and totally under the foot of Monsanto. But in Russia, I saw stuff that was sort of in between, that had chemicals on the farm while at the same time they had cows grazing out in the pasture and eating hay. And so it was a totally different experience to me to see this other side of agriculture that I'm not used to here in the United States. And one thing I really think is important is for everybody to continue researching and looking more into their food, because there's always new stuff coming out. There's a point in time where I was like, okay, I think I know everything about the food system, and then I keep on hearing more and reading more articles and finding out totally different stuff that's coming out. And I really want to let people understand that Monsanto is the largest and the most powerful GMO producing company out there, but they're not the only one. There's companies like Dow, Syngenta, and DuPont that are producing GMOs as well, and getting stronger and stronger while people are attacking Monsanto and not noticing these other companies. And another thing I think people should look at too is there's a recent really industrialization of organic foods. And recently Walmart and Target released a basically public statement saying that they're going to start organic brands and really push it out there. And I think that's great to get the availability of organic foods and non-GMO foods, but we need to make sure that the quality is not being lost when we're putting the food out there. So I want to tell everybody to just keep doing the research, keep looking into your food and trying to figure out where your food comes from. Know your farmer, create that relationship and that bond, and really just we need to finally get GMOs labeled in this country and get people more interested in what's going on with our food system. Thank you.